Good morning. I'm Councillor Glen, and it is Saturday, September 7th. Thank you for tuning in. It's good to be back. I haven't done one of these videos in probably about a month. Took a bit of a break in the summer, so thanks for tuning in. It's good to be back. It's a very rainy day, and I'm here at Village Square Park this morning in the rain underneath the gazebo. Back to school. Congrats to families and kids who are heading back to school, and teachers too. It does mean we have kids who are walking, biking, taking the school bus to school, so please everybody slow down, be alert. If you can, avoid those school areas entirely during the drop-off and pickup times, if you can. Pardon me, the fewer vehicles on the road we have around schools, the safer it is for everybody. So thanks for your cooperation. A heads up, we've had some reports from residents about vehicle break-ins, usually overnight, and they seem to be happening mostly in the north part of Stittsville, in neighborhoods like Potter's Key, Jackson Trails, Bryanson Gate, and Fairwinds. Not exclusively, but most of it happening there. So a reminder to lock your vehicle, remove any valuables, make sure they're not visible in that vehicle, and thank you to everyone who has reported these to police. That's really important to report to Ottawa Police at ottawapolice.ca. I've got a busy week coming up, especially on Wednesday. On Wednesday in the morning, we have the 6310 Hazeldean Road file coming to Planning and Housing Committee. This is the proposal for a 21-story apartment. I'm really focusing on infrastructure, particularly transportation infrastructure, and the timing around the construction of Carp Road as it relates to this development. You can sign up to speak at committee, either in person or on Zoom, or you can send written comments to the committee. And I know a lot of you already have, so thank you. Information on how to do that is available on my website at glengower.ca. That evening, Wednesday evening, we have a virtual meeting about the city's draft zoning bylaw. It's a big project the city's working on, and we're setting up this meeting. We have city staff coming to give an overview of what's in it, answer your questions, and looking for your feedback as well. So you can register for that on my website. Over the past month or so, you might have heard Mayor Sutcliffe has launched a campaign for financial fairness for the City of Ottawa. And maybe you've already heard about this or heard some of the details. I wanted to highlight two things. It's about, one of them is about something called PILTs, Payments in Lieu of Taxes. So under Canadian law, the federal government does not pay property taxes to the City of Ottawa, but they pay PILTs, Payment in Lieu of Taxes, that are supposed to be an equivalent. Except what's been happening over the past few years is the federal government has been arbitrarily reducing the amount of payments. So, you pay an amount that's assessed by MPAC, any resident or business here in the City of Ottawa. The federal government is supposed to pay that equivalent to that, but they've been setting their own rates, and they're lower than what they should be paying. So over the past several years, while everyone else's property taxes have been going up, the federal government tax payments have been going down. It's a big problem, and the amount the federal government doesn't pay gets absorbed into the property taxes for residents and commercial property taxpayers. So it's not good. So that's one of the aspects of tax fairness. The mayor wants the federal government to pay their fair share. The other one is around how the provincial government funds transit in the Toronto area versus here in Ottawa. So in Toronto, for example, they're building new light rail lines out to Hamilton, to Mississauga, to Brampton. Those are being funded entirely by the province with some federal help, and the operation of those, so the maintenance and the costs to run them on a day-to-day basis, are being paid 100% by the province. Meanwhile, here in Ottawa, the City of Ottawa is paying at least a third to build them for the capital costs, and 100% of the operating costs. So Mayor Sutcliffe is saying, treat us the same way you do Toronto. Now, the argument is that these lines in Toronto are regional rail lines, which is true, but if you look at the actual distance covered, we have the equivalent of a regional rail line here in Ottawa, just because of the sheer size of Ottawa, from the west end to the east end to the south end. So those are a couple aspects I wanted to highlight. There's a lot more information on my website and on Mark Sutcliffe's website, the mayor's website, marksutcliffe.ca, and he also has a petition there that he'd like you to sign to help him advocate to the other levels of government for more funding for the City of Ottawa. Not just for transit, for a lot of other aspects as well, but transit is a big focus. Speaking of transit, I know a lot of people in the fall look at their transportation. Some people will be heading back to the office more often. Maybe students heading back to school and you're considering transit. I have a couple of tips for you, especially if you haven't used transit in a while. One of them would be start by using the Park and Ride. I use the Park and Ride at Eagleson most often when I'm heading to City Hall downtown. There are more options there with the bus. It's not like it used to be 5 years ago pre-pandemic where you had to get there super early to get a parking spot. There are lots of spots available there. So that's my one piece of advice. Start with the Park and Ride and then start from there. I think it's going to be more convenient for you. The other is download the Transit app. This is something new in the last couple of years that OC Transpo has introduced. It's free on Android or on Apple. And it's a great tool where you can put in your destination and get route recommendations, but you can also track in real time where the bus is at. And there's been some big improvements to the Transit app and to the GPS tracking for the buses. A couple years ago, I wouldn't have told you at all that it was very reliable or helpful, but it is absolutely game-changing for transit use with this new app and the new technology. So check that out, the Transit app. A few other things. Ottawa Public Health is reminding families to make sure your kids are vaccinated, up to date for vaccinations. Heading back into the school year, you can find information at ottawapublichealth.ca. CARDELREC has a temporary closure. The arenas are open, but the pool is closed, and during the daytime, the gyms and community areas are closed. The gyms are open weekends and evenings with some restrictions. It's so that they can repair the roof, doing a roof replacement. It means that my ward office is closed as well until early October. So my ward office, we've temporarily moved to the Stittsville Library on Stittsville Main Street. So it's great to be working out of there. By appointment mostly, we're in there most days, but it's a smaller office, and you're welcome to drop by and say hi if you're checking out a book from the library. But if you want to set up an appointment to talk about anything, send me an email or give me a call. I'll have more about this in the coming weeks, but a reminder that the city's new garbage limit is starting in October. This is the 3-item limit. It can be 3 big bins, it can be 3 bags, it can be 3 bulky items, or any combination of those. Your green bin pickup is unlimited, your recycling pickup is unlimited, but there is a 3-item limit for garbage. We'll be sharing a lot of information about that in the coming weeks, and it starts in October. Lots of upcoming events in the community. You can see information on my website at glengower.ca/event. We have a great community event calendar. One highlight, though, is right here on September 14th is the annual Butter Tart Festival. I know a lot of people looking forward to that on September 14th. And to close off, I want to say a big congratulations to Stittsville's Trinity Lowthian, who has been competing at the Paralympics in wheelchair fencing. And I've seen some of the photos and following some of the updates from her family who's there with her, and what an incredible experience. Congrats, Trinity, and we're all cheering for you. Have a great week, and I'll see you here next time. Bye-bye.